In the grand pageant of Roman history, certain names echo through time: Julius Caesar, Augustus, Nero, Marcus Aurelius. But between these towering figures stands a man whose reign represents one of the most peaceful and prosperous periods in Roman history, yet whose name often elicits little more than blank stares. Welcome to the remarkable story of Antoninus Pius, the emperor whose 23-year rule marked the zenith of Rome's golden age, yet whose legacy remains largely hidden in the shadows of more dramatic figures. Born in 86 CE to a wealthy senatorial family, Titus Aurelius Fulvius Boionius Arrius Antoninus rose through the ranks of Roman politics with such integrity and competence that Emperor Hadrian adopted him as his heir. Upon ascending to the throne in 138 CE, Antoninus would earn the honorific Pius, the Dutiful, a title that speaks volumes about his character. In an empire accustomed to conquest, scandal, and intrigue, Antoninus offered something revolutionary: stability. While his predecessors and successors waged costly wars, Antoninus maintained peace throughout most of his realm. While other emperors drained the treasury with extravagant monuments, Antoninus practiced financial responsibility. And in an era when absolute power typically corrupted absolutely, Antoninus ruled with justice and moderation. Over the next 45 minutes, we'll journey through the 2nd century Roman Empire at its absolute height, a civilization spanning 3 continents, containing nearly a quarter of the world's population, and enjoying unprecedented peace and prosperity under Antoninus Pius's steady hand. We'll explore how this emperor without military experience maintained Rome's borders without major wars, how his administrative reforms strengthened the empire's foundation, and how his legal innovations showed remarkable compassion for the era, including laws that protected slaves, orphans, and the accused. Perhaps most intriguingly, we'll examine the paradox of his legacy. How could such a successful emperor fade so thoroughly from popular memory? And what can his reign teach us about leadership, governance, and the often overlooked value of steady, unflashy competence? This is the story of Antoninus Pius, the emperor who proved that sometimes, the greatest achievements in history are not the conquests and the monuments, but the disasters averted and the lives improved through wise and compassionate rule. Early life. Childhood and family. Antoninus Pius, originally named Aurelius Fulvius Boionius Antoninus, was born on September 19, 86 AD near Lanuvium, modern-day Lanuvio, Italy. He was the son of Titus Aurelius Fulvius, a distinguished Roman senator who served as consul in 89 AD, and Arria Fadilla. Antoninus came from a family of political prominence, the Aurelii Fulvi, who were originally from Nemausus, modern Nîmes, in the province of Gallia Narbonensis, southern Gaul, present-day France. His paternal grandfather, Titus Aurelius Fulvius, had been a high-ranking Roman official and played a significant role in the rise of Emperor Vespasian. As a legate of Legio III Gallica, he had supported Vespasian's claim to the imperial throne and was rewarded for his loyalty with both a suffect consulship and a full ordinary consulship under Emperor Domitian in 85 AD. The Aurelii Fulvi were therefore a relatively new senatorial family whose rapid ascent was closely tied to the Flavian dynasty. The influence of Antoninus' family extended beyond Rome, particularly in Gallia Narbonensis, where they maintained strong connections. This likely contributed to the increasing importance of the governorship of this province in the late 2nd century, as more elite Roman families sought control over its administration. Antoninus' father, Titus Aurelius Fulvius, did not have any other children and died shortly after completing his consulship in 89 AD. With his father deceased, young Antoninus was raised primarily by his maternal grandfather, Gnaeus Arrius Antoninus, a highly respected senator known for his integrity, intellect, and refined cultural taste. Pliny the Younger, one of the most notable literary figures of the time, held Gnaeus Arrius Antoninus in high regard and considered him a man of exceptional virtue. The Arii Antonini, Antoninus' maternal family, were an older and well-established senatorial lineage from Italy. They were especially influential during the reign of Emperor Nerva, whose policies favored their rise in Roman political circles. Antoninus' mother, Arria Fadilla, later remarried Publius Julius Lupus, a suffect consul in 98 AD. From this marriage, Antoninus gained 2 half-sisters. Arria Lupula. Julia Fadilla. Despite his noble lineage and the early loss of his father, Antoninus grew up in a stable and intellectually stimulating environment under the guidance of his grandfather. His education was typical of an elite Roman aristocrat, encompassing studies in rhetoric, philosophy, and law, which would later shape his approach to governance and diplomacy. Marriage and family life. Marriage to Faustina the Elder. Between 110 and 115 AD, Antoninus Pius married Aeneia Galeria Faustina the Elder, a woman of remarkable beauty and noble heritage. Their marriage was believed to be a happy and affectionate one, which was somewhat rare among aristocratic Roman couples, where marriages were often arranged for political or financial reasons. Faustina was the daughter of Marcus Annius Verus, II, a distinguished Roman senator and consul, and Rupilia Faustina, who was a stepsister to Empress Vibia Sabina, the wife of Emperor Hadrian. Faustina's family was highly influential in Roman politics, and her father's status further solidified Antoninus' standing in the senatorial class. Despite some rumors regarding her character, it is evident that Antoninus deeply loved and respected Faustina. His later actions after her death, such as deifying her and establishing charitable programs in her name, demonstrate the profound bond they shared. Children of Antoninus and Faustina. Antoninus and Faustina had 4 children, 2 sons and 2 daughters. Unfortunately, both of their sons died before reaching adulthood. Their children were Marcus Aurelius Fulvus Antoninus, died before 138 AD. His sepulchral inscription was found in the Mausoleum of Hadrian in Rome. Marcus Galerius Aurelius Antoninus, died before 138 AD. His sepulchral inscription was also discovered at the Mausoleum of Hadrian. His name was later inscribed on a Greek imperial coin. Aurelia Fadilla, died in 135 AD. She married Lucius Plautius Lamia Silvanus, who later became consul in 145 AD. However, she did not have any known children. Her sepulchral inscription was found in Italy. Aeneia Galeria Faustina Minor, Faustina the Younger, born between 125 and 130 AD, died 175 AD. She would later become a Roman empress after marrying her maternal cousin, Marcus Aurelius, in 146 AD. Death of Faustina and Antoninus tribute. In 141 AD, Faustina the Elder passed away, causing Antoninus profound grief. To honor her memory, he petitioned the Roman Senate to deify her, officially elevating her to the status of a goddess, Diva Faustina. The Senate approved his request, and he commissioned the construction of a temple in her honor in the Roman Forum. A dedicated order of priestesses was appointed to serve in her temple, ensuring that her legacy endured through religious worship. Antoninus also ordered the minting of commemorative coins bearing Faustina's portrait with the inscription, Diva Faustina. These coins were elaborately decorated and distributed widely across the empire, reinforcing her divine status. Additionally, he founded a charitable institution known as Puelli Faustiniani, Girls of Faustina, which provided financial assistance and support to destitute girls from noble families. His commitment to social welfare extended further when he expanded the Cura Annoni, a Roman alimenta, grain distribution and welfare, program, ensuring food security for the impoverished. Life after Faustina's death. Following Faustina's death, Antoninus never remarried, which was unusual for a Roman emperor. Instead, he chose to live with Galeria Lysistrate, one of Faustina's freedwomen. Concubinage was a common practice among high-ranking Roman men, particularly widowers like Vespasian and Marcus Aurelius. It allowed them to have companionship without producing legitimate heirs who could threaten their political succession. By choosing this path, Antoninus avoided political pressure to remarry into another aristocratic family, which might have created succession conflicts. Similarly, his eventual successor Marcus Aurelius later rejected marriage to his former fiancée, Sionia Fabia, sister of Lucius Verus, preferring a concubine instead. Like Antoninus, Marcus Aurelius made this choice to protect his children from the potential influence of a stepmother. Favor with Hadrian. Antoninus Pius steadily climbed the political ranks of the Roman Empire, earning recognition for his exceptional administrative abilities. After successfully holding the offices of quaestor and praetor, he was appointed consul in the year 120, serving alongside Lucius Catilius Severus as his colleague. His performance in this prestigious role further cemented his reputation as a capable and efficient statesman. Following his consulship, Antoninus was entrusted with a key administrative role as one of the 4 proconsuls responsible for governing Italia, a position directly assigned by Emperor Hadrian. His jurisdiction included Etruria, a region where he also held significant personal estates. His effective governance in this position earned him considerable respect, particularly among the Roman elite. His reputation grew even further when he was later appointed proconsul of Asia, a crucial province in the Roman Empire. Historians believe that his tenure as proconsul of Asia likely took place between 134 and 135, during which he skillfully managed the affairs of the province and demonstrated exceptional leadership. Antoninus Pius' growing influence brought him into Hadrian's inner circle, ultimately leading to a defining moment in his life. On February 25, 138, Emperor Hadrian, facing deteriorating health and the recent death of his first adopted son Lucius Aelius, formally adopted Antoninus Pius as his son and successor. However, Hadrian placed a condition on this adoption: Antoninus would have to adopt two young men, Marcus Annius Verus, who would later become Emperor Marcus Aurelius, and Lucius Verus, the biological son of Lucius Aelius. These adoptions were meant to secure a stable imperial succession for future generations. Upon his adoption, Antoninus briefly took the name Imperator Titus Aelius Caesar Antoninus, symbolizing his preparation to assume the highest office in Rome. However, Hadrian's decision to appoint Antoninus was not without controversy. Some opposition to his appointment came from other potential claimants, particularly his former consular colleague, Lucius Catilius Severus, who was then serving as prefect of the city, Praefectus Urbi. Despite these challenges, Antoninus assumed power smoothly, with no significant resistance. Reign as emperor. With Hadrian's passing, Antoninus officially ascended to the imperial throne. Upon his accession, his official imperial name and title became Imperator Caesar Titus Aelius Hadrianus Antoninus Augustus Pontifex Maximus. One of Antoninus' first major acts as emperor was to secure divine honors for his late predecessor, Hadrian. Initially, the Roman Senate had been reluctant to grant Hadrian the status of a deified emperor, Divus Hadrianus, likely due to lingering resentments towards some of Hadrian's harsh policies in his final years. However, Antoninus persistently advocated for Hadrian's deification, eventually persuading the Senate to grant him divine status. Many believe that Antoninus' unwavering loyalty to Hadrian in this matter earned him the honorary title Pius, signifying his dutifulness and piety. Other accounts suggest that he received this title for his compassionate acts, such as personally supporting his elderly father-in-law during Senate meetings and pardoning individuals whom Hadrian had sentenced to death in his later years. Shortly after assuming power, Antoninus took an important step in shaping the future imperial dynasty. He approached Marcus Annius Verus, the future Marcus Aurelius, and requested a revision of his marital arrangements. Antoninus proposed annulling Marcus' betrothal to Sionia Fabia, the daughter of the late Lucius Aelius, and instead engaging him to Faustina the Younger, Antoninus' own daughter. This change also required the annulment of Faustina's previous betrothal to Lucius Commodus, the future Lucius Verus. Marcus accepted Antoninus' proposal, further securing the imperial family succession. As emperor, Antoninus Pius proved to be a devoted patron of the arts, culture, and public welfare. He invested heavily in constructing temples, theaters, and mausoleums throughout the empire, fostering a sense of stability and grandeur. He also showed great respect for education, offering financial rewards and official honors to teachers of rhetoric and philosophy, reinforcing Rome's commitment to intellectual and cultural advancement. Unlike many of his predecessors, Antoninus made very few immediate changes to Hadrian's policies. He sought continuity and stability, leaving intact most of Hadrian's governmental and administrative structures. His approach to governance reflected a conservative and cautious strategy, ensuring a smooth transition of power. Recent epigraphical and prosopigraphical research suggests that Antoninus' imperial administration was dominated by a tightly connected group of senatorial families, many of whom belonged to the priestly order dedicated to Hadrian's cult, the Sotiles Hadrianelles. According to historian H.G. Flaum, this research highlights the deeply conservative nature of the Roman senatorial elite during Antoninus' reign, emphasizing continuity over radical change. Antoninus also maintained several luxurious residences across the Roman Empire, including palatial villas near Lanuvium and Villa Magna, Latium, as well as his ancestral estate at Laurium, Etruria. These properties served as personal retreats and political centers, reflecting his immense wealth and status as emperor. Lack of warfare during Antoninus Pius' reign. The reign of Antoninus Pius, 138 to 161 CE, is often considered one of the most peaceful in Roman history. Unlike many of his predecessors and successors, Antoninus never personally participated in military campaigns, nor is there any record of him having ever visited a battlefield. One modern scholar even remarked, It is almost certain not only that at no time in his life did he ever see, let alone command, a Roman army, but that, throughout the 23 years of his reign, he never went within 500 miles of a legion. Despite this lack of direct military involvement, Antoninus' reign was not completely free from military disturbances. Several regional conflicts and revolts occurred across the empire, but these were largely handled by his appointed governors and generals, allowing Antoninus to maintain his position without engaging in warfare himself. Military disturbances and regional conflicts. Mauritania, North Africa. A rebellion arose in Mauritania Tingitana, prompting Antoninus to appoint a senatorial governor instead of the usual equestrian procurator. Cavalry reinforcements from Pannonia were deployed to subdue the unrest. Towns like Sala and Tipasa were fortified as part of the defensive strategy. Judea and Britannia. There were disturbances in Judea and among the Brigantes in Britannia, but these revolts were smaller in scale compared to earlier Jewish revolts or later large-scale uprisings. The situation in Britain, however, prompted Antoninus to take a more aggressive stance. The Antonine campaign in Britain. Unlike most of his reign, which was characterized by a defensive strategy, Britain was the one province where Antoninus took an expansionist approach. In 139 CE, he appointed Quintus Lollius Urbicus as the new governor of Britannia. Lollius was a skilled general from Numidia, modern Algeria, and had previously served as governor of Germania Inferior. Under Antoninus' orders, Lollius led a military campaign into southern Scotland, winning key battles and pushing the Roman frontier further north. To consolidate Roman control over these newly conquered territories, the Antonine Wall was constructed from the Firth of Forth to the Firth of Clyde. However, despite its ambitious construction, the Antonine Wall was soon abandoned in the mid-150s, likely due to logistical difficulties and the inability to permanently pacify the region. The wall was shorter, 37 miles, than Hadrian's Wall, 73 miles, but was initially thought to be more defensible. The land it enclosed was barren and unsuitable for agriculture, making it difficult to sustain Roman supply lines. Without urban development or deep Romanization, it became difficult to maintain lasting control over the region. Some scholars suggest that the British campaign and the construction of the Antonine Wall were driven more by political motivations than strategic necessity. Antoninus may have sought military prestige early in his reign to strengthen his legitimacy, especially since he lacked prior military experience. To reinforce his accomplishments, in 142 CE, Antoninus adopted the title Imperator for the second and final time, and coins were minted celebrating a victory in Britain. The Roman orator Fronto later defended Antoninus' military policy, arguing that although the emperor did not personally lead campaigns, he was still the helmsman of the empire, guiding Rome's military affairs from a distance. Internal threats and usurpation attempts. Although Antoninus' reign was largely peaceful, it was not without internal threats. There were at least 2 recorded attempts at usurpation. Cornelius Priscianus, a senator accused of disturbing the peace in Spain. He had previously served as governor of Britain, which suggests he may have had military backing. He ultimately committed suicide before any formal action was taken against him. Attilius Rufius Titianus, likely an exiled troublemaker from Hadrian's reign. Found guilty of conspiracy by the Senate, but Antoninus chose not to confiscate his family's property, demonstrating his mild approach to internal conflicts. Both of these incidents are confirmed by historical records, including the Fasti Ostienses, official Roman calendars. The erasure of Priscianus' name from inscriptions further supports the existence of these conspiracies. Other military and foreign affairs. Dacia, modern Romania. Disturbances in Dacia Inferior led Antoninus to grant additional powers to the provincial governor. Additional Roman troops were sent to strengthen the province's defenses. Black Sea region. The Greek city of Olbia was attacked by Scythian tribes, but Roman forces successfully defended it. Germania. The governor of Upper Germany, likely Gaius Popilius Carus Peto, expanded the Limes Germanicus, Roman frontier fortifications, by 15 miles into Agri Decumates, modern-day southwest Germany. Eastern provinces and Parthia. In 140 CE, Antoninus maintained Roman control over Armenia by appointing Sohemus, an Arsacid prince, as the client king. Roman coinage from his reign shows Parthia depicted as a submissive vassal state, though this was more symbolic than a reflection of real dominance. Antoninus' unique approach to warfare. One of the most remarkable aspects of Antoninus' rule was that he never left Italy throughout his 23-year reign. Unlike other Roman emperors, who frequently led military campaigns in person, Antoninus governed entirely from Rome, delegating military matters to his trusted generals and provincial governors. Instead of traveling to deal with crises firsthand, he issued imperial letters to cities and provinces, some of which were publicly displayed, as in Ephesus. His administrative style was highly praised by both contemporary writers and later historians. Even distant nations recognized his authority. The Indian kingdoms and the Kushan Empire continued to acknowledge Antoninus as the legitimate Roman emperor, with diplomatic envoys traveling to Rome. The historian Raoul McLaughlin quotes Aurelius Victor, who wrote, "The Indians, the Bactrians, and the Hyrcanians all sent ambassadors to Antoninus. They had all heard about the spirit of justice held by this great emperor, justice that was heightened by his handsome and grave countenance, and his slim and vigorous figure." However, this diplomatic outreach largely faded after Antoninus' reign, as his successor, Marcus Aurelius, was forced to shift Rome's focus toward wars against Germanic tribes and the Parthians due to growing external threats and the outbreak of the Antonine Plague. Early life and rise to power. Antoninus Pius was born on September 19, 86 AD, in Lanuvium, Italy, into a wealthy and distinguished senatorial family. He received an excellent education and gained governance experience as a senator, consul, and later as the governor of Asia, modern-day Turkey. His administrative skills impressed Emperor Hadrian, who adopted him as his heir in 138 AD. When Hadrian died later that year, Antoninus became emperor on the condition that he would adopt Marcus Aurelius and Lucius Verus as his successors. This ensured a stable line of succession for the Roman Empire. Economic and administrative policies. Antoninus Pius was an excellent administrator who focused on financial stability, public welfare, and infrastructure development. He maintained the empire's economic strength by avoiding costly military campaigns and reducing the tax burden on the provinces. He personally donated funds to regions affected by disasters, such as earthquakes in Asia Minor and Greece. His reign also saw extensive construction projects, including roads, bridges, aqueducts, and public buildings, which improved connectivity and urban life across the empire. Legal reforms. Antoninus was known for his fair and just approach to governance, introducing several legal reforms that improved the rights of citizens, non-citizens, and slaves. One of his most significant laws protected slaves from mistreatment, ensuring that masters could not kill them without facing legal consequences. He also improved provincial justice systems, ensuring that governors ruled fairly and citizens had the right to appeal unjust rulings. His legal reforms influenced the development of later Roman and European legal systems. Military and foreign policy. Unlike his predecessors, Antoninus Pius maintained peaceful relations with Rome's neighbors and avoided unnecessary wars. Instead of expansionist campaigns, he focused on strengthening border defenses. His most notable military achievement was the construction of the Antonine Wall in Britain, which extended Roman control further north into Scotland. Small uprisings in Dacia, Mauritania, and Parthia were quickly suppressed by local governors, ensuring overall stability in the empire. Diplomatic relations with China. During Antoninus Pius's reign, Rome made its first recorded diplomatic contact with China. Chinese historical records, Ho Han Chu, mention that a Roman envoy reached the Han dynasty court in 166 AD, likely initiated during Antoninus's rule. The Romans referred to China as Serica, or Sina, while the Chinese called Rome Dechin. This marked the beginning of trade and diplomatic relations between East and West, with Roman goods such as glassware, silver, and textiles reaching China, while silk and spices were imported into Rome via the Silk Road. Death and succession. Antoninus Pius ruled for 23 years, passing away on March 7, 161 AD, at the age of 74. He reportedly died of a fever at his villa in Lorium, near Rome. Before his death, he had ensured a smooth transition of power by nominating Marcus Aurelius and Lucius Verus as joint emperors. This prevented political instability and allowed Rome to continue thriving under capable leadership. Legacy and historical significance. Antoninus Pius is remembered as one of the 5 good emperors who brought peace, stability, and economic prosperity to Rome. His reign is often called the Golden Age of the Roman Empire, as it was free of major wars and saw significant advancements in law, governance, and infrastructure. His legal reforms influenced future Roman laws and later European legal systems. Additionally, his emphasis on peace and diplomacy helped expand trade with China and India, strengthening Rome's global influence.